Okay, welcome back everyone to the Mobile Mailbox Money Mastermind. I'm your host, Alden Guajardo, President of Silvercrest Opportunity Fund, Vice President of Sales and Marketing for Win Mobile Homes and Mobile Mailbox Money, and we provide investors a passive rate of return in notes in a time when it's needed most. I've got my cohorts here today. This is live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, so just be aware it's as involved or uninvolved as you'd like. I take the time here to have my cohorts introduce themselves because we share this across about 50 to 100 Facebook groups. So just know that that's what we're doing here in the beginning. But Sonny, maybe if you could just introduce yourself and a little bit about your background. Sean, if you could just introduce yourself, maybe a little bit about what you do and your background. James, if you could just give a light intro. James, you start struggling with your voice. We'll keep it light for today. So today we're actually at Activate, which is Geraci Law Firm's first conference back in the game, throwing conferences here at Caesar's Palace, February 26th. Later on today, we're actually headed to their second conference, which is for more seasoned professionals called Activate, and that's at the Win. And they have two conferences, I believe, in September in Miami. So we'll look about possibly making an attendance there. But shout out to Geraci Law Firm and Anthony Geraci. They're the largest private lending law firm in the nation. We happen to meet them at American Lending Conference. So shout out to Matt Rosen, the individual that throws those conferences. But, you know, long story short, we've been to almost every major national private lending conference, to note investment conferences, to real estate investment associations, and now have our new corporate sponsorship of Arizona Real Estate Investors Association. So great adjacent branding in the market in order to facilitate trust. You know, trust is of utmost importance, and to be an upstanding, out in the market individual with a brand, you know, that's the people that you want to do business with at the end of the day. So I'm going to just jump into the meeting here because this is the live deal flow family bank, with deals actually currently in escrow numbering about 10 transactions. So some of these have already been closed, some are in escrow and approved. Am I sharing my screen here, Sonny? Okay, great. So we're at the winmobilehomes.com website. Win Mobile Homes is the largest dealer of manufactured housing in Arizona. Every one of these notes go through a double round of underwriting, a mortgage officer and third-party underwriting in order to hit ability to repay, meaning they're Dodd-Frank compliant. What does that mean? These are bank quality positions, underwritten and risk mitigated, immediately available for a transaction. So here on lot 123, this is this a 2-2? This two bed, two bath, actually ground set manufactured home in the East Mesa market, located Brentwood Southern. We've done upwards of $2 million in transactions in this one park in this area, probably 150. So deep roots within this area, and our default rate's 2%. So on this transaction, let me just look at my notes here real quick. Sonny, are you doing the transaction coordinating for this deal? Maybe if you could just talk about the numbers and how it's an opportunity. So So 619 bucks a month for 20 years in first lien only lien position with an underwritten buyer borrower we deem risk mitigated in an institutionally owned community we've done a tremendous amount of business in. Someone could buy this note for the 20-year term. We could additionally pledge this same position. What does that mean? At a 1-year term, we pledge this note in order to garnish capital investment via hypothecation at 46,300 for an interest-only payment and 19 years of liquidity, because you get a call for a call option in a year to go liquid at 46.3. That is an interest-only payment for a 1-year term. That's 385 a month. So we effectively arbitrage the interest rate and look for lenders at less than what the note bears and give you 19 years of liquidity. And we take a loan against our note at the end of the day, giving you 385 a month and a call of congratulations, you've received your monthly payments. Would you like to auto rollover upon the expiration of your contract? Or maybe you have someone, needing some capital within your relationship sphere, or you want to go on a vacation, all areas of potential opportunity. That's a low price note at the end of the day for 46,000 to receive a double-digit interest rate outside complications of landlord and tenant, cash flow in 30 days. This note is approved. They're approved by the park, and that's in the East Mesa desirable market. And them being in a 55 and older community likely will be their last house until they go to assisted living. What does that mean? That means that they're going to be there for probably the 20-year term, and that return on this note on a summary option on a mortgage calculator, total interest earned is $100,000. We made $100,000 on paper just owning the note for a 20-year term in this house that, as you see before you, and we bought it for 46.3. Either absorb it in the fund or you can buy it today in your IRA. So let's keep moving. This is a double wide 3-bed, 2-bath in the South Mountain market. South Mountain's very demand driven for family communities that are larger than 2 bedrooms. So to have a 3-bed, 2-bath in this market, that single family residence could rent for 2,500 bucks a month, whereas this buyer borrower, I believe, is paying 99,000. They're putting a $4,000 down payment, and their monthly payment's $1,250. Their total combined with lot rent and the home payment is $2,115. So they own this home for what they would have paid in rent, and it is a little bit older of a home on the exterior, but clearly they did a big rehab interior for flooring, even granite counters, new cabinets, it looks like. And I actually personally walked this home on my vlog and did a firsthand evaluation. We'll have our rehab staff inspect this property upon us receiving the funding, making sure that it's a risk mitigated transaction, that all electrical and plumbing, roof, AC unit are up to par. We want to ensure that we're getting a quality piece of collateral. But this home's actually approved. From my understanding, they got a small discount from 103 to 99,000 at $95,000 unpaid balance for a 20 years term. This note is $1,250 a month, $1,250.95, $1,250.95. That's 14, 15,000 a year in passive cash flow and first lien position. And this is I believe, kind of a newer family. So, planting roots in this area in order to be there long term. And every note we talk about has three options. You could either buy this note for the full yield and participate on the 20-year contract until they either pay it off, refinance, or you sell the note. Or we can hypothecate the position, as I previously spoke, for a 1-year term at still a double-digit interest rate, and you still get your lien position, security on title, or we could absorb it in the fund. The evergreen availability and affordability of these positions allows me to absorb at $50,000 to $100,000 your capital and absorb this position in the fund, paying 10 to 12% as a monthly or quarterly distribution. So we don't have to hit a $5 million raise just to do the transaction. It's a $100,000 note. If I get that capital, we end up absorbing the note inadvertently. So all of our own deals, not other people's deals, and these are the homes and deals you see before you all through our business. So let's keep it moving. Lot 186, actually right across the street from that 3-bed, 2-bath. It is a 3-bed, 2-bath single wide, but it's been completely rehabbed. So granite, new cabinets, split bedrooms, still a 3-2 at about 1,000 square feet. So little bit higher turnkey finishes than the property across the street at sacrifice of square footage. And I'm told that we actually did a deal with this individual already. So what happened on this home? I actually walked through it on my blog. I think it's 140, 141, or 139. So you can actually see me walk through and go through the numbers, evaluate the property, and talk to the person that owns this asset. So it's a structure where he bought and rehabbed the property. I buy it at a negotiated cash price discount and reseller finance it to the approved buyer or borrower and create a margin while also creating a golden nugget of a seller finance note to an end user buyer or borrower. So we don't own this home until closing. We double close the seller finance, get a quality piece of collateral, effectively creating a margin on the quick flip and underwriting the buyer or borrower to garnish capital investment for those positions. So that's a 3-2 right there. South Mountain, we've done, again, in South Mountain, probably 1.2 to 1.5 million in transactions just in this area. So high demand, especially for a family community, being a 3-bed, 2-bath rehabbed in turnkey condition. Does anyone have any questions? But I always encourage individuals to type in the chat. Sunny actually monitors that as well. But I'm going to pump the brakes and see if anyone has any comments, concerns. Getting the heart in the chat. Thank you for your contribution today. Remember, this is as involved or uninvolved as you'd like. This is just a back office view of what we do literally on a day-to-day basis, creating housing in the Arizona market. So let's keep it trucking. We got like 10 deals in escrow right now. We're looking for capital. These are all affordable positions, quality collateral in the major metropolitan markets of Arizona. Not in the boonies. This is the Alabama. This is a top 5 move to market at the end of the day. So let's keep it trucking. We got lot 30. This is a 55 and older community, double wide manufactured home we actually bought and rehabbed. It's got granite counters. We refinished the cabinets, it looks like, and put in our white and gray finishes as far as the laminate flooring paint on the inside and exterior. This 2-2 I think has a built out Arizona room as well. But that being said, yes, it does. So it's got a large additional square footage, built on the exterior of the property with indoor finishes, all watertight, etc. But adds to the livability of this property. This home in Brentwood West is one of the nicest mobile home parks in Mesa. They have large fountains, large grass walking areas. They have, I'm looking for gigs real quick. I wonder if I can just pull up pictures of that, because it doesn't do it justice just even talking about it. It is a gated community and gone through a fair amount of updating. Even the clubhouse itself looks pretty killer. Here's a drive up to the gates. You got this grass area and walking areas, pools, jacuzzis. You're not just low on amenities. You got mountain views, and every home in this park actually is ground set, so it adds to the additional neighborhood feel of the community. A bunch of raised elevation kind of starts to feel more like quote unquote a mobile home park. This is a neighborhood with fitness centers, indoor pool in this park, and here's the main entrance walkways. Can have a barbecue out there and things of that nature. So kind of helps you, I think, a little bit better understand of the lifestyle that people get when coming into manufactured housing. It's tough to accommodate in single family for that price point, for them to get those same amenities. For them, if they were to try and replicate that in a single family residence, that would be upwards of $400,000, and most people can't even qualify for a $400,000 purchase, as average combined household income is, I think, $60,000 a year. So where are those people to go? They're to go homes just like this. They get a turnkey property, and with not much available financing, there's 21st Mortgage that will finance these properties. But sometimes people just don't hit, those concrete guidelines in order to facilitate the transaction. So that's why, someone would buy, especially this home in particular, being in a much nicer 55 and older community. So that's lot 30. We have a few more. Let me just look at my sheet here real quick. Lot 216, Grand, Missouri. We talked about this property last week, but it's actually moving forward to close end of this, early next week, I believe, on Monday. So this 2.2 we bought at a deep discount. Replacement value of a home like this is $125,000, and that's not even factoring any profit. We sell it under market value, still get a decent margin on this transaction, really just buying it and selling it. Didn't have to rehab it because it's brand new. It's 2023, never been lived in. So this buyer borrower will pay, I think, $2,200 a month for brand new property total. So at $99,000, I believe it was. I have it right here at 97.5, and these are all estimated payments, upon further review of the document. So 97.5, and they're putting a $4,000 down payment. They're paying a 1% pref on their interest rate for a 20-year term. That monthly payment is $1,231. And if you could mute your mic if you just joined, we appreciate you being here today. We got someone logging in on the account, so we may have to call it short, or maybe we got them. Okay, we got them muted. Perfect. So anyway, so we're again here at Activate and Elevate. I don't know what's going on with my screen now. So a bunch of deals in escrow at the end of the day. Fair amount of transactions, fair amount of opportunity. We're here at Activate and Elevate. Happy to be here today. We got an interview with Geraci Anthony Geraci just about 10 minutes ago. So we'll be putting that out. We also have, additional media that we did at the event. So we did end up going live and did a little prep video of the event. So these deals are live, like I said, ready to go. We're looking for capital. We could put $500,000 to $1 million to work in under 30 days. And it's all brought to you by Silvercrest Opportunity Fund and our adjacent branding out in the market. Looking for immediate capital. We'll be at Arizona Real Estate Investors Association, second Monday of the month, every month. And with our main corporate sponsor, we'll be around the rest of their actual meetups. So they have fix and flip meetups, other networking events, and education behind how to actually operate risk mitigated out in the market. So we appreciate you all being here today. If no one has any questions, comments, or concerns, I have other deals in our back pocket. We cut it short today only because we're here traveling. But, from Desert Dawn being a real property transaction with still an above average interest rate, that's one that's 150,000, paying, I think it's like 1,300 a month or something of that nature for a 1-year term on a real property transaction with a renter that's actually paying 2,500 a month. And that's in the Mesa market as a 3-bed, 1-bath. So wide variety of opportunity. We teach people to raise capital for our deals and ultimately effectively arbitrage their relationships. One thing we've learned and had to get nimble in is if you do enough transactions, you end up running out of money. Well, now you're a seasoned professional in the industry, learning how to navigate these deals. Leverage your relationships. Talk to your Uncle Joe who has $5 million sitting around and is getting 5% in a CD at the end of the day. That's a true equation where you offer them less than what the note bears, and with your expertise and relationship that we can cultivate, you capitalize on that deal using none of your own money. So, whether you're an investor yourself, you have a group that you meet with, we would love to attend any events that you deem worthy of coming to attend. We always encourage people to invite, established individuals here on the Mastermind every Thursday at 1 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. And today's brought to you by Silvercrest Opportunity Fund. That's our 506c Reg D accredited investment fund, providing a 10% return for a 1-year term paid monthly, a 12% for a 3-year term paid quarterly. We had a couple people kind of log in late today. Again, we're going to keep it short, but we appreciate you being here. Sonny and Sean are happy to create a relationship. It's all about doing business with people like, and trust at the end of the day. And we hope that doing these masterminds and open deal flow markets provides you further comfortability in order to take that next step and start earning income in as little as a 30-day program. That's one step closer to financial freedom. What do we call that? Mobile mailbox money. We appreciate you being here today. Sonny's got her contact information in the chat. I put my personal information in the chat. Sean just sent his information in the chat. We've got some reactions going. So appreciate you being here today. We'll see you next week. And please don't hesitate to reach out. We are wire ready for opportunities and hopefully get these deals done before the end of the month and help you start earning the following month in these transactions. Appreciate it. We'll see you next time. That's the Mastermind. Appreciate y'all being here today and viewing. Invest today with Silvercrest Opportunity Fund.